Hello and welcome everyone. In this video, we will review series methods. A series object has many attributes and methods that are useful for data analysis. So please keep watching till the end of this video to gain understanding of how these methods work. In general, the methods return a new series object. Most of these methods returning a new instance also have an in-place or a copy parameter. So let's first import pandas and then we create two series. In the previous video, we saw that we could iterate over a series to list its values. And we can iterate over the series.items to list index value tuples. And we can also list the indices by iterating over the series.keys. In the previous video, we also saw that we could do broadcasting. For example, when we multiply a series by 2, the entire series gets multiplied by 2. We can add two series. In this case, if the keys match in both series, the corresponding values will be added together. Here we can see that for Ringo, since one of the values was missing or empty, we get NaN or NaN. To fix this, we can use fill NA method in both series, and we are filling the missing values with zeros. So now if we add these two series, we get 5 for Ringo. How can we get and set values in a series? In the previous video, we saw that we could use index labels, we could also use dot notation, and we could also use the dot get method. And the recommended approach is that is to use dot at and dot loc methods. So if we run this cell, we get the same answer for all of these 5 different ways of accessing index values. We could update the value corresponding to index. We saw that as well in the previous video, and we could do the same using dot loc method. Now to access any index using this method, one thing we need to remember is that if the index values are from one of the keywords, then this method won't work. Or if the index values has a space within its label, then this method also won't work. So what are the keywords? We could import keyword and then we could list all of these keywords. So this is a list of all the keywords that we cannot use. Often it is useful to change the values of the index. The first dot reset underscore index method will reset the index to monotonically increasing integers starting from 0. By default, dot reset underscore index returns a new data frame and not a series. It moves current index to a column. To get the series, pass the parameters drop is equal to true. So let's see how this works. We apply the reset index method, and as I said before, we are getting a data frame instead of a series. So remember, data frame is a sheet-like structure rather than a column-like structure. So here we have 2 columns and 4 rows. When we say drop is equal to true, now we are seeing a series because we have an index column and the values column, and then we have the name of the series and the data type for the data stored. We could also use the dot reindex method to change the index order. For example, if we are running songs underscore 69 dot reindex, we could only extract these key values, and wherever there is no data, we will see NaN. Similarly, we could also update an index label by using the rename method. Here we have changed Ringo to Richard, and you could see that in the result. We could also rename or change the index labels by using a lambda function. Similarly, we could get the index labels as a string and then apply the string method to change them to lowercase. Again, In the previous videos, we have seen that we could count the values, the finite values in the series using count method. As you can see that in one of the series, we are seeing the finite values are 3 because in that series we have a missing value. We could also get a value count, that how many times a value is repeated within a series, and in this case we have 4 values and each value appeared once. Now if we have a series with some duplicate values, then we could use the drop duplicate method and specify this parameter to select which value to keep. By default this is first, but if we want to keep the last value, we could specify this parameter. Here if we don't provide this parameter, we can see that it has taken the first value. And how do we know that? We can see the indices, which index did it keep. We can also see how many duplicate values are there, and we could use the duplicated method, and that will give us a Boolean array. So we can see the first two values are not duplicated, but the third value is true because one is repeated twice. Next, it's also important to drop certain duplicate entries when we are doing data analysis. So we could do that by using the group by method and then provide the series index and then select first or last. So in the first cell, we are selecting the first value, and in the second cell, we are keeping the last value. In this case, you can see Paul is 100, so that is the first value corresponding to the index label Paul. And in the second case, you can see Paul is 79 because we are keeping the last value. In the next video, we will continue from here. Thanks for watching and see you all in the next video.